Yeah.
A very warm morning to all of you. Uh, on behalf of my organizing team and college family, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries and guests and research scholars in this on the second day of 5 days national workshop. Uh, Before starting our first session today, I would like to report yesterday's first session and second session. In day one started with the lamp lighting ceremony, and state song was sung by the principal, registrar, and the professors of the Department of English. After that, Dr. Anita Shankar ma'am presented a welcome note to all the respected speakers and participants to this 5 day national workshop. Then Dr. I.D. Tiwari sir gave a brief note of welcome and spoke about the importance of research in present scenario. Later on, Dr. Neeta Srivastava ma'am had given a wonderful introduction to basics of research methodology. She said, research is like preparing a delicious food, or it is like working on beautiful music composition. Then, our respected principal, sir, Dr. K. L. Tandekar, had welcomed all the dignitaries and participants on behalf of the whole college and organizing team. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Aruna Palta ma'am had appreciated the virtual Saraswati Vandana, and she knew all the research persons, and she also congratulated the organizing team for their efforts on collecting the gems for this national workshop. She also said that well begun is half done. The research methodology is nothing but a systematic way of solving research problem. After that, Aishwarya Srivastava had given a brief note introduction to our guest speaker, Dr. Prantik Banerjee sir, and Sir has begun his lecture with an anecdote on Richard Feynman, who was a man of physics. He was classic in teaching physics and won a Nobel Prize in near about 1960. Once he was invited in California University to deliver a lecture on quantum physics. The lecture which delivered there soon become viral, and it became a cult. His lecture was recorded and it was published in a book form so that it helped various researcher and PG students. Then, Sir has said about the causes of poor quality of research in India, which is ambiguity and redundancy. Ambiguity could be good or ambiguity could be bad. When we talked about English or writing skill in English, ambiguity means writing style is not clear and precise. Redundancy means using superfluous words which are difficult to understand. Then later on, he talked about research and high style, and he also dealt with social affair, and he also touched all the fields of research like choosing the title, framing a title, plagiarism, research problem, research gap, and he also does a review of literature. And later on, he talked about thesis drafting by using various examples. And he also said researchers should have in a free mind to pursue research. In the second session, uh, our guest speaker was Dr. I.D. Tiwari sir, who delivered a lecture on research methodology. He covered all the major topics like what is research, objective of research, motivation in research, types of research, significance of research methods versus methodology, research and scientific methods, importance of knowing how research is done, and research process. So it is it is his lecture was very beneficial for the beginners who started or begin or he stepped for, he would take a first step toward the field of research. So overall, yesterday's session was very wonderful and mind blowing. So, thank you. After that, I would like to start today's session with inviting Mr. Sunil Kumar to introduce our today's first guest, energetic, dynamic, and beautiful Dr. Somali Gupta, ma'am. Over to you, Sunil.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is Sunil Kumar, a research scholar in the Department of English, Government Digvijay College, Rajnandgaon. I would like to welcome to all dignitaries and participants joined by YouTube and Google Meet. This is the second day of National Virtual Workshop on the basics of the topics of workshop is basics of research methodology. Today we are privileged to have a great personality in the field of English literature and language as a keynote speaker for the session first. Dr. Somali ma'am, Somali Gupta ma'am, professor on the department in the Department of English, Government UIT, PG College, Zurich. Ma'am has experience of teaching as well as research. Ma'am has 37 years of experience in teaching in higher education, and she has been associated with training and coaching since 1998. She is a professional member of ISABS, Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Science. Ma'am is a certified executive power coach from CLI, Canada. She is a principal consultant to Origin, US-based training and consulting company. She is an ex-dean social development, Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Sciences. Ma'am is a member of International Coach Consultants and Consortium. There are many accreditations on ma'am's name. Like she has been accredited human process facilitator by Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Science since 2005 and certified executive coach from CLI Coaching and Leadership International in Canada, recognized by IQAC. Ma'am, she is an accredited trainer for EMT, Entrepreneurial Motivational Training. She is accredited trainer for sensitivity, awareness and motivations for women managers in higher education. Ma'am is certified by American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute for Hospitality Training, and she is certified by Oscar Murphy International Psychometric Assessment Tool. There are many achievements in the field of research activities in the field of research. Ma'am has achieved a research award by UGC on the topic of youth anxiety and stress within the higher education system, a group analysis of the students from the backward classes of Chhattisgarh from 2012 to 2014. There are one minor research project sponsored by the UGC on the topic of development of oral communication skills 2009, and ma'am has completed awareness campaigns in solid waste management sponsored by the Ministry of Environment and Forest 2011 to 12. Her PhD topic is cultural awareness in the writings of Meera Singh Chaudhary. Ma'am has a research supervisor. Till now, there are four research scholars were awarded, and one is pursuing. Ma'am is a member of the editorial board of Journal of English for a specific purpose, University of Nice, Serbia. As well as ma'am is an external examiner for PhD thesis for several universities like Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University, Raipur, Pune University, Pune, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Devi Ahilya University, Indore, Nagpur University, Nagpur, Rani Durgavati University, Jabalpur. Ma'am has invited in many lectures, in seminars, in one seminar as a keynote speaker on the topic of emotional intelligence in teachers, faculty of engineering, University of NIS. And second is he was invited for the address on the role of identifying of language teachers on English language classrooms by ESPIA, Hope University, Liverpool, UK. Ma'am is an external faculty in IIM Ahmedabad for sensitivity training and International Birch University, Sergio Barsonia in Rajnandgaon. I would like to welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Sumali, ma'am,
Thank
it's
you.
over to you.
That was lengthy. I just realized that I need to cut it short. Next time I send out my bio, it'll be a full line now. But thank you so much for that introduction. And
Thank you.
let me begin.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
what a task to begin uh, after listening to two highly erudite lectures yesterday by Dr. Prantik Banerjee and by Dr. I.D. Tiwari on almost every aspect of research. I have the challenging task today to engage with all of you on the very same topic. So, taking up this challenge, I hope that my talk on research uh, adds to the pre-existing knowledge exactly what research is supposed to do. Since yesterday we have been talking about research as why research, and we have been talking about how, especially Neelu, when she introduced the topic, she said it adds to the pre-existing knowledge. So I hope my talk does exactly that. It adds to the pre-existing knowledge. But before I begin, I would like to congratulate both the organizers, Government Digvijay College and Khairgarh University, for organizing such a much needed workshop, especially with NEP 2020. Almost all the colleges have introduced a paper on research methodology. So I would say this workshop is a much needed one, highly valued by all, one and all, the students, the professors, the research scholars. So I hope it fulfills the purpose that it aims at. In other conferences, I'm so tempted to say this, in other conferences when I speak, I usually know one or two people, mostly the organizing secretary who has contacted me, and maybe one other person. But when I'm looking at the screen right now, I'm seeing familiar faces, smiling faces, and really this feels like home turf. It doesn't feel as though I'm talking to strangers. It feels I'm amongst friends and I'm talking to people whom I know. I've known Anita Shankar madam. I have known Dr. Neelu Srivastav, Chandan Soni. So these are well-known people. Madhu, my dear friend, Dr. Madhu Kamra, is also here. I'm so delighted to be amongst friends and to be talking on a subject like research, which itself says that this is a workshop in the truest sense where we can actually intellectually engage with each other and bring out something really worthwhile for all the researchers, which would be in the true spirit of this workshop. So with that, just to check, I understand that there are participants from other streams as well. Is it right, Dr. Neelu Srivastava or Anita?
Yes, ma'am. The participants are from all the streams, not only from literature.
Right. Thank you so much. So let's begin. And let me first say, I just love the way you have introduced the topic, Dr. Srivastava. Back, the topic itself, it says back to the basics, and it's always good to be back to the basics. Here in this workshop, we have teachers, researchers, would-be researchers, long-stopped researching researchers, who have not engaged with research for the past 5 or 10 years, people like that. And trust me, all of us who are still engaged with research, who are not engaged with research, all of us must reach that touchstone of the basics time and again. So, and why so? It's because we either forget or we tend to ignore, or sometimes we just don't know what the basics are. Because they keep changing, the rules keep changing. MLA comes up with the handbook every 2 or 3 years. So the basics are changing. It's good to be back to the basics. And I can say this for sure because there are enough number of theses that I evaluate every year. There are enough number of papers that I see coming up for publications from various journals. So this gives me the idea that basics must be revised. And that goes well for me too. It's not that, I'm here sitting on a high horse and saying, oh, I know all the basics. I don't. In fact, every time something new comes up, I really go in to ensure that, I understand what the difference is. So it's good to be back to the basics always. So where do we start then? And before we start, can I share my screen, please?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
go for a window and no, I go for the whole screen. Sorry. Okay, cancel this. I don't see my, I don't know. I have been using Google Meet and yet I don't see my paper. How do I do it? Do I open it and keep it?
Ma'am, anyways, you can do that. First, you select the three dots and you will get the option.
Yeah, I'm getting the
Share screen.
options.
Yes,
Full screen. No, I'm no share screen. I'm going to share screen. Present
yes. Then
now.
start sharing.
Right. But why don't I see my PPT? I don't still see it.
Ma'am, you can send to any one of us and then we can also share.
Okay, I'll do that.
Please take your time. You will get it.
So I'm also sending it to Nilu. Can I?
Yes, yes. Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. At WhatsApp, ma'am?
No. I'm sending it via mail. I'm not good at sending it in WhatsApp.
Okay.
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 So I
My
have
mail?
my limitations too.
No, ma'am. It's fine, ma'am. We all are same. So far as technology is concerned.
Yeah, and it always happens with. Okay, now it says it's in use, so it won't. Okay, just a moment. Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, are you mailing me to my
Yes.
personal? Okay. Let me check. I'm checking.
I have just sent it. Okay. So it may take a couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, we can continue to talk. And I'm just going to try one last time. And
Ma'am, I have got it. I have got it at mail. We will do it. Yeah.
thank you so much.
Then you can try double clicking the share window.
I'm doing that. Share.
And a window or entire screen. You have to double click that.
I just don't know.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Chandan, we have got it. So we will share it from our side.
Fine.
मैंने भेज दिया GPCR में.
One of those days when technology decides to put me in the toughest spot, make a complete ass of me, and tell everybody that yes, I cannot do it. So, okay, admitted. So now, if you could please.
We all are sailing in the same boat. These young generation
I
people, they
love
help
it.
us to do these
In the
things.
class when I'm able to share my screen, but today no. And I was scared of this.
No, ma'am, it's fine, ma'am. It will be done from here.
So if you, so like I was saying, that research, we all are into it and yet not into it in the truest form. And I always think that it requires a certain amount of discipline. And that discipline comes only when we follow when we go back to the basics and we understand. That is what brings us to the discipline of research. So I'll my title, which says research, it's all in the name, is actually, there are literature people here, so you might have guessed that it's a takeoff on Romeo and Juliet's famous quote, and in which,
Ma'am, it's being shared now.
thank you. So the first,
Welcome,
yes.
ma'am.
So it's the very first title itself. It's all in the name. It is researching, and of course, apologies to Shakespeare, apologies to Romeo and Juliet, because it was not this. It says, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." It's not the same with research. Research has to be diligent. You just can't call it with any other name. The name itself defines what we intend to do. The next slide, please. The poem hasn't come. I don't know why. Should have, but I'm just going to read it out to you, and most of you might have read it. It kind of it's a summary of research, and I like to read this poem out every time I'm talking about research. It's by Rudyard Kipling, and it says, 6 honest serving men. I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and where and who. I send them over land and sea. I send them east and west. And after they have worked for me, I give them all a rest. So these honest 6 serving men are all we need to do research. The questions that these honest men will answer for us while we do our research is what, why, when, how, where, and who. And once these questions are answered, it's so easy to find a way to research. The question is, why do we do research? Now, here, I'm not passing a value judgment here, but if I ask most of the students who come to me that why do you want to do research, most of them say that we want to do it because it's a requirement. Yesterday, Dr. I.D. Tiwari, when he was speaking, he showed a very nice slide on motivation of research. Desire to get intellectual joy, service to society, its respect in the society, to acquire a research degree. Now, I have known in my lifetime of studying and working with various kinds of people, I have known people who have just done it to gain respect in the society, that I want the doctor to be added before my name. In fact, in reading my introduction, when Sunil said that I have worked with Organised Training and Consultancy in an honorary capacity with Mr. Anil Bahal. Bahal Saab wanted a doctorate degree just for the sake of respectability. He says, it makes a huge amount of difference when people invite me. And at the age of 65, he got enrolled in fielding and he got his research, he got his doctorate. It meant so much to him. There was no monetary gain, there was nothing, but he felt very respected by the peers when he went on to do his research and get his doctoral degree. Surprisingly, if you get to know his topic, it would kind of gel into what I'm going to say later on. He worked on Keats's negative capability as a leadership quality. Phenomenology, he called it, the research method, and we are going to talk about it too later. I mean, briefly, of course, don't have that kind of time. But the very concept of negative capability to be developed as a leadership acumen, and to get a doctoral degree from Fielding University itself meant that, yes, we need to break away from the shackles of traditional thinking, of research. There are people who have done research for service to the society. Dr. Kalam, other scientists constantly who are into doing research. The very vaccine that has come up saving us from COVID has been brought out by researchers who thought of that vaccine and brought it out for us. But yet, most of the people who come to do research in English literature, who come to us as students, today we have students enrolled under us. Probably they are doing it for the research degree, whereas the research degree actually should be the byproduct. And it is only later, when we have done our PhDs, when we get older and we continue to do more research, we realize that that was just the beginning. It is now that we have actually become researchers in the truest sense. So what is research? Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. So research is formalized curiosity. You have to be curious. You have to want to know what is there. Whatever you read must, trigger those gray cells in your head to say, oh, this is what I want to learn more about. So it is poking and prying. Now, poking and prying can seem like very, not so nice words. You're prying into somebody else's affairs. No, it's not like that. But poking and prying with the purpose of knowledge, purpose of adding to the repertoire of already gathered knowledge is what we are looking at. And for that, one needs to find the right topic and the area of research. And here is a last line is a warning or a caution that in finding the right topic and the area of research, one must learn to avoid self-projections. Now, what is this? Now, often, the guides would agree with me here that often, especially when it comes to English literature, the students would come and say, I want to do research on feminism. I love feminism. I don't know what is there to love feminism or what is there to, be so focused on feminism. And gradually when we get along talking, or I want to work on post-colonialism, that is the angle. No, you've already pre-decided on what critical theory you're going to use and then search for the author later. I don't know if it works out like that. Yesterday when Dr. Banerjee was talking, he shared a similar dilemma, and I kind of resonate with that. And I say, yes, it is difficult when it's already preset in the mind. And oftentimes I have found that it is the researcher's inability to deal with the patriarchy around, or deal with the situation or the societal pressures around, that makes that person work on feminism in order to vent the feelings. So they feel good writing about feminism, taking up an author who is most likely a woman author, and talk about feminism without internalizing anything. And that itself is a self-projection as I see it. So there you have talked about a woman author, you have taken up a topic, you have taken up a critical theory, you have written all about feminist viewpoints, and nothing has changed in your own life. I see that as a very, very, I would say, fractional research having happened, when it has not made any difference to you. I agree with what yesterday Dr. Srivastava said. Research is for the creation and enhancement of knowledge. But is that knowledge only to be at the head level? Is that knowledge not going to ever transfer to the society? if you look at it, I'll come back to it, that research, especially literary research, often finds space only in the shelves of the libraries. What we bring out through the research in terms of new knowledge, in creation of new knowledge, never reaches the policymakers. It never goes to the level where we can say that, yes, this is what has been talked about, this is how literature has been influenced, or literature has influenced the society, and hence this is something that must come up while making the policies. It still hasn't. I haven't seen it. But it's time that we start doing research of that capacity, which would make people sit up and listen or read and actually take out what has come up from that research. It has to have, and for that, I think a little bit of empirical research also needs to happen. Something that's coming from our own experience. So again, I'll pick up the line with which our Honorable Vice Chancellor Madam ended her speech, that research is actually what everybody else has seen, but no one else has thought of. And moving on to the next slide, please. So with that, we move on to the various aspects of a research or a project paper. So we may not be doing research, but still we must be writing our projects, or we must be involved in paper writing, research papers for journals. Moment, please. So first of all, I'll just take a very quick look at the various aspects that one must be cognizant about while writing a research paper. The title. Yesterday we had a long talk on the title. It was almost like a workshop which Dr. Banerjee held. And the title must be precise, not too heavy. And I completely agree, no critical analysis, because research means you will be critically analyzing the works. And for those who are not into literature, जो यहाँ पे literature के नहीं हैं, उनके लिए भी critically analyze करना, किसी भी चीज को उसके तह तक समझना, वो तो it must come itself in the title. So critical analysis is a must part. You don't need to put it in the title. Thematic study, no. You will have to study the themes anyway. Why bring that up? So no thematic studies, no critical analysis. The topic itself should state, the title should state what you're trying to do. It should tell the reader, this is what I'm going to get. It is like reading the menu card. You don't need to, actually ask, isme kya hoga? If it is saying paneer bhurji, it will be paneer bhurji. Come on. So I'm back to the trope of food, which so dominated the talk yesterday. So I'm referring to it too. So what I'm saying is the topic has to be precise. And I don't know why I always get this, so I'm going to say it, that the topic is like, all of you who are interested in football would understand when I say you have to bend it like Beckham. You have to bend it like Beckham. It must go straight into the goal. It must hit right. There are other players, no doubt about it. But then you are in the midfield. You can't be vague about which way do I pass the ball. You have to aim at the goal. So your title should be straight. It has to hit the goal. The second is the thesis statement or research questions. If you are doing, you can do either. Most of the theses that come for evaluation do not have thesis statements. It's only very few, the theses that come from Pune University, I have seen them there, the thesis statement being written very categorically. But then most of the research that happens here, thesis statement is missing. It starts with, such and such person was such and such great writer in such and such age, and life and works and other things. Life and works not needed. Absolutely not needed, unless that is what you are delving at, that is what you are dealing with. Wahi agar aapka, if that's your main topic, that's a different thing. But other than that, it should be the thesis statement that should come up in the first paragraph itself of your work. It should give a very clear idea to the reader what you're trying to defend. Research questions should be so pinpointed that it should tell the writer, tell the reader that these are the questions that have emerged in your mind towards which we are seeking answers. Second, of course, is the methodology. With literature, we mostly go in for qualitative research work. The question is, can we add a little bit of quantitative work also there? Yes, we can. It is only that we need to read much more, and we need to be good with certain softwares where we can collate the data that we have collected. But can be done. No, the previous one, please. The slide. Not yet. I'm still with the aspects of research. Review of literature. People ask me, why do we need to review if work has already been done? You are doing research, so let's first search, and then we will do the research. And yesterday, like Dr. Aidri Tiwari said, Shodh Ganga is a very good portal where you can actually search for the work that has already been done. And then we have the findings, and like there was a slide by Banerjee sir which said, you are not EE coming, so take care of your grammar. Please take care of the tenses, take care of the grammar. Research needs to be written in present tense. Only past tense when you're referring to what has happened earlier. Learn your punctuation marks. They make a huge deal of difference to where you need to stop. And trust me, people, यहाँ पे अगर science के researchers हैं, if there are there, scientific people who are from the stream of science also need to take care of their English. Because when you're publishing in international journals of repute, they expect the knowledge of English to be proper. And sometimes it doesn't make sense what you are saying. If you have put it in Google Translation, it's really bad. They translate anything in any way. So the meaning of what you're trying to say doesn't come across. And then that, in spite of being a very good research as a work, it does not make the paper fit for publication. And papers often get rejected. So while your research is good, your paper is not good enough. So please take care of that. And then we spoke about the research being readable and understandable, and there was a reference to Richard Feynman. So yes, it must be understood. Keep the language simple. There's no need to be, the language does not need to be full of jargons, full of difficult words. That doesn't make it good English. That doesn't make it good research work. So it just makes it more ambiguous. It just, you have to sit with the dictionary, flick through the pages and see, oh, okay, this is what the person is trying to say. So not good, not done. Next slide, please. No, the slide before this. Okay, we'll stay on to the slide. Oh, you have changed it already. Okay. So research design. I give a lot of importance to research design, because I personally tend to mix and match kind of a thing, like one would do with saris, you want to change a little bit. Mix and match with suits and dresses. I'm getting more into the women foray of the women, where we kind of experiment with many things. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Research design, if you have it in your head, it's very difficult to, waver here and there. It requires a little bit of planning. Of course, it requires a lot of reading of the literature, because that is what exactly gives you an idea. Okay, so this has already been done. So in my design, probably I can bring this data in a certain way. Formulation of research questions or hypothesis, again, methodology, data collection, analysis, and research conclusion. So the entire research layout must have these components. Next slide, please. So this is a very basic design of research. Very, very basic. I mean, no rocket science here. If you go stepwise like this, you pick up your research area. I want to do research on the women writers because that is something that, resonates within me. And then you start looking for authors, writers, read, like, hate, throw away, pick up, love. I have done, I had picked up Neeraj Chaudhary for my PhD that way. After reading Bharti Mukherjee and many of the other writers, I'm not condemning anybody, I couldn't go beyond the second or the third book. I mean, they were all the same drab stories. And that is when I read Passage to England. And the beauty of language, English language, if you want to read it, he writes better than most Englishmen, according to Khushwant Singh. The beauty of language was so intoxicating that I couldn't just leave the book. And then I kept on getting more and more. And it was the sheer beauty of the language that held me to Neeraj Chaudhary. My request to all the would-be researchers is take up a topic that is close to your heart, because you have to stay there for the next 4 years and read every aspect of that person. Many people ask me, doesn't he aggravate you with his, anti-India point of view? And today I wonder, everybody who goes abroad or has stayed for a few days in the USA comes and finds fault with everything that is Indian. We Indians do these things. America is so good. It's so clean. Outside of India is so nice, so beautiful. Everything within India is so dirty, so hot, so much of pollution. Neeraj Chaudhary did probably the same. He was condemned. Yet we are doing it today and it's okay. No harm there. But you need to find something that you are okay with, something that you can read and you can resonate with, something that's going to make a change in your life. And after that, you find a research design. And I'll say why research design is important. I'll come to the next slide when I'll talk about that. And then you think about the process. Is this going to be my process? Am I just going to read 10 books from the library and then, club it all together and then make my paper? Or am I going to add something, my own understanding of the works? So your research process begins there. Then you analyze all the works that you have put together, all the things that you have, all the masalas that you have mixed. You analyze that and you come to your result or your thesis. Next slide, please. So, when I say mix and match, I don't know if I can use my cursor. Can you see my cursor? So the research idea, the literature review, the formulation of the research problem, what is the area that you're going to target? And here I'm talking about not just literature, I'm also talking about other researches that is being done in education, where data is being collected and being analyzed, researches that are being done in sociology or political science, or even in language. And my researchers have been in the field of education, language, behavioral science, literature, where I have tried to combine all. And for that, till here it's okay, formulation of the research problem. One has to collect data. You can translate it to, reading various books, but then data collection becomes a must. You can collect data from random groups or from closed groups. Closed groups means within your classrooms, something which is under control, or random groups where you are actually, you have floated the questionnaire to various people, and from there you have collected the data. You analyze the data and try to find the answers to your research questions. Sometimes they may not fit into your stream of things, so you go back to the data collection and then once again. So, here you spend a little time collecting data, analyzing, recollecting, reanalyzing, and then finally you come to the correct interpretations where they all start matching and fall into place. There are time, you may need to spend a little time here, but the interpretations will come out right. If the questions are right, if the data collecting process is right, if there is no bias that has come up during your data collection. And how do biases come up? Biases come up in a very simple way. You want to know whether attendance helps in the learning of English language in the classroom. So you have collected data from all the students present in the classroom. Now that data is biased because the students are already present. They will give the answers mostly in the positive. What about the students who are not attending the class, who are at home studying there? Your research formulation or your research problem is attendance important? So you need to collect data from both the parties, people who are attending and not attending. So it will not give you the correct interpretation. Hence, time and again, at least I had to collect and recollect data for my research because I found the interpretations or the results that are coming up are biased. And then we come to the conclusion, whatever we come to, but with unbiased data. Next slide, please. There are new avenues, now we have talked a little bit about the method. Now let's look at the avenues that have come up in the 21st century, in the modern age. What have we come up with? 20th century criticism is already gone, old. Post-structuralism, feminism, deconstruction, psychoanalysis, post-colonialism, they are all considered to be old methods of analyzing texts. The 21st century criticism brought in new modes of hybrid studies. So we have this ecofeminism and others. So we'll come to that later. But what brought about this change? The 21st century, in 2016, a new word came into play. In fact, it is being played out even now. I recently read The Age of Post-Truth, it was called. The year of post-truth was 2016. Oxford English Dictionary declared it the word of the year. And by definition, post-truth implies that truths are created by people's perceptions of the world that they believe to be true and is derived from personal beliefs, perhaps influenced by others, and emotional instincts rather than facts. Drawing conclusions this way and creating alternative facts means that almost anything can become true, whether it's correct or not. And we see an example of this in the election campaigns, where the leaders, in order to gain votes, come and promise many things, and we tend to believe it. It's constantly being repeated, so we believe it. It's there in advertisements. So fairness creams, you apply it, you get fair in 7 days. Tend to believe it because the model who's there showcasing the product is a fair person. And then we have news coverages on TV. We know that, even currently when the Ukraine war is being covered, we don't know how much of it is true, how much of it is not. What the TV is trying to project, but what we see is what we believe. And of course, there are lectures by influential people, and they tend to impose on our minds the truth as they want us to see the truth. Now, in the new avenues, of course, I wouldn't want to miss out on the recent Booker Award by Gitanjali Sri, translated by Daisy Rockwell, tomb of sand. And such a beautiful way of writing back to the empire. A real post-colonial work where the booker goes to a regional writer. Of course, for readability, it had to be translated, but then this is the first time this has happened. Any other translation work which has received so much fame is, of course, Tagore's Gitanjali, but he translated it himself. And it is only now we have come to one Indian, because other writers like Jhumpa Lahiri or Arundhati Roy and all, they have all written in English. They have not written in the regional language. So another new avenue coming up, a new area of research. But then don't forget those 6 questions: what, where, how, why, when. So a good question to ask would be not what Gitanjali Shri has written. Of course, a book will be worked on, but also one could see as to how it has come to be accepted as a book, a nomination in the first place. What is it that has gone? A huge area of research lies at the backdrop of this Booker Award. And it would be a great area to explore. Next slide, please. Now, when I talk of interdisciplinary and hybrid studies, everything is a topic today. So the word on the street is that theory is dead. It has been superseded by multitude of studies. Gone are the theory stalwarts such as deconstruction, Marxism, feminism. As I said, they are all redundant right now. Not exactly redundant, but they have gone changes. And they have been replaced by studies of everything and anything from Barbie dolls to Beyonce. So you can do research on how Barbie dolls influence the society, or they influence the mindset of growing up children. To biopolitics to books, Barack Obama to Donald Trump, all the lectures are texts. In fact, I had an extremely nice thesis for evaluation from Pune University, which was on the implicatures in Barack Obama's lectures. So the entire pragmatic aspect was studied by picking up the major lectures that he had given during his election campaign. Comic strips, Amar Chitra Kathas, graphic novels, everything. In fact, debates on the TV are also to be studied. They are all topics. Now, quite a few years ago, I was attending an international conference, and there was this lady from Tel Aviv who spoke about the impact that the hoardings had on language and also on the local politics. So she made a study of that and wrote about that what kind of hoardings were being put up and what kind of impact they had. I know that there has been research, thesis, PhD, on the use of graffiti for learning English language. Yesterday, food was a trope of the sessions. So if we take a look at, kind of how the mention of food in various literatures of various periods also tells us, the mindsets and various other information that come to us. All of you who have done NAC must have heard of the gentleman, Dr. Pati. And Dr. Pati actually spoke about, once I was listening to his lecture in one of the sessions, he spoke about the project that he had taken up on the good morning messages that he received every day. Now, all of you must be listening to, getting good morning messages, Rose, Bird, God, Lord Krishna, or anybody else, or, some nice thing at the backdrop. These good morning messages, usually most of us either delete it, sabere itna time nahi rehta hai, to again find something, or forward somebody else's if the person is very important. to that person. But to find, search diligently and send something every day in the morning is very few people do. But those who do it very diligently, do it with lots of sincerity. So he actually collected the good morning messages, slotted them, analyzed them, and drew behavioral patterns of the people who sent them out. So huge amount of a very good research work came out from that, from something that was very practically being done. Next, please. So today in the West, they say, now let's come up to the most, I would say, popular topic amongst researchers, especially women researchers, which is feminism. So I'm going to talk a little on feminism and how it impacts. So for the West, let us look at the difference, that the way we look at these topics and why we need to be cognizant about bringing in our own experience into our research also. So today in the West, feminism is dead, along with sundry other post-identities like postmodern and post-colonial feminism in the early 21st century has roundly been declared as the era of post-feminism. Khatam ho gaya. But the time for conducting a post-mortem on feminism has not yet come for India. For us, feminism is well and alive, and with a good reason. So here, we can actually look at why we must understand the texts as they are and also understand what it means to us. Next slide, please. So if we take up only feminism, there are actually now these hybrid studies which are more important, and they give us a larger perspective, a larger spectrum of work area to work with. So for example, masculinities and feminities, gender and identity, gender and race, ecofeminism, gender and post-colonialism, female masculinity, male femininity, LGBTQIA. Now, first it was LGBT, then it became LGBTQ, then it became LGBTQIA and plus. So we are expecting more. Plural identities, transgender studies, and of course, ecofeminism, which is again there. There are many. So how can we say that it's over? But to confine it only within one thought probably is not right. When we look at the works of Khalid Hussain, Kite Runner hardly has women characters, 2 women characters, and yet the male character, if you look at that, is endowed with so many feminities in terms of vulnerability and other things. Cut to, let's look at the second novel, Thousand Splendid Suns. It has a very, very strong woman character. So, unless we take both the perspectives and we do the research with the right kind of understanding of what is brought forth by these, hybrid studies, research probably will not be justified. Next slide, please. Fourth wave of feminism. Of course, feminism as it started continues with the battle against patriarchy and sexism. It also explores the relationship beyond patriarchy. See, it's not only about patriarchy. There is more to it. And my next point talks about that. There is an internalized misogyny that is ruining feminism. Why isn't it still that wholesome feminism? So there is always that, that thing where I'm calling it misogyny for the want of a better word, and it is internalized within the system of womanhood, where I say, oh, she wears short dresses, I don't. So I'm the better person and she's not. So there is immediately a value judgment that comes in, and there is that misogynist viewpoint that is based on not wanting certain things, which is so internal. So whatever I cannot do, if somebody else does it, it's not right. One has to deal with this. And of course, gender oppression varies from culture to culture, and a woman's situation cannot be considered as homogeneous. So, with the proper understanding of all these factors, one must study Afro-American feminism or Indian feminism, or really understand what goes into the culture. Next slide, please. Now that we have all knowledge as our province, as Bacon says, we have taken everything. Literature ke hain, to kya hua? We can always, kind of put our paws into other fields, be it sociology, be it political science, be it education, be it psychology. We can kind of delve into something else and bring out what is important into our core research. Literature research gives you the benefit of parallel thinking. Now, I just want to kind of share a small incident that happened that actually brought me to this point of parallel thinking. Recently, as you know, the university had this RDC, and I was looking at the synopsis of a particular scholar, and I could see the way she has written. It was very cryptic, it was nice, and but I could make out that she is a student of science. Somewhere it told me, and I asked her, were you a student of science earlier? And she said, yes, madam. But how do you know? I said, it's the way you have written. So, and I said, it's nice, it's neat. She said, science people are very direct. We don't like to, talk about other things. And see, I have been a science student too, but somehow I felt a little belittled, So I've done my BSc too. But then I said, what? In literature, the benefit is that you always don't think linearly, this after this after this. In science, you need to, because that's how you go. In literature, you have the benefit of parallel thinking. When you're reading a text, you can read it. The first reading, of course, has to be an open reading, but your second reading can always be at one level, at the post-colonial understanding of what is happening, and then you can have your feminist understanding of what's happening. You can have your deconstruction getting done in the whole process. So thinking parallelly, thinking of all the aspects is a benefit that you have when you are doing research in literature. And then, of course, as I said, you can put your paw in everything, and you can do interdisciplinary approaches, bring in interdisciplinary approaches and find more tangible meanings. And that is what brings more value to my research. So my research doesn't just decorate the shelves of the library, but become a part of the policy-making processes. My invitation to scholars would be, do not apply theories mechanically. Oh, she's a woman writer, I must put in the feminist approach to it. As said yesterday, please do not recycle previous works. Advertisements on the TVs are a huge field that has not been explored properly. And yet they give you such a deep insight into the societal mindset. The other day I was watching the television and I came across, it was just 2 seconds. I don't know if it was an advertisement. Probably you people will be able to tell me better whether it was an advertisement or a clipping from one of the soaps or whatever, movies, they show advertisements where this girl, what they show is this girl walking in the street somewhere around midnight, because those lamps are there, the street lamps are there. And then she's attacked by 2 boys. And when she's attacked, she fumbles, she falls. And there this guy comes, saves her, beats up those 2 hoodlums, they run away. And then he picks her up and he says, "Zarurat kya thi itne raat ko nikalne ki?" And the girl looks at him, gives him a look, and she says, "Zarurat nahi thi, marzi thi." And it hit me hard. I said, wow. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. I just wish that this kind of work is promoted. This is what impacts the society. You know, every time a woman goes out at night, it can your बीमार माँ की दवाई and छोटे भाई का इलाज ना, it cannot be कि मजबूरी थी इसीलिए निकले थे, माँ बीमार है खांस रही है तो मैं दवाई लेने आई थी. No, I want to go out, I want to take a stroll. That freedom, marzi, when do we get there? So unless our research addresses areas which are so dynamic, I don't know how long we'll be, juggling within the frameworks of literary texts and talking about feminism as a movement. So like I said, that little piece of 2 seconds, I keep my TV on, that little piece of 2 seconds, and I said, wow, oh God, I want that country. I want my country to be like that. Next slide, please. So, what is the value of literary research? Does literature influence the society? Yes, it does. Literature does influence the society. Literature also gets influenced by the society. Yet, why is it that none of the literary researchers have found place in policy making? Why haven't we able to reach that level? I think it's time we did. And unless we reach there, unless we really start working around real issues, of course, enhancement of knowledge is must. I'm not denying that, nor I'm running it down. But we need to move beyond that also. We need to do real-time empirical research. We must need to learn to add more weight to what we are doing in terms of literary research. And I'm coming to the last section, which is the next slide, please. For the guides. Now, our journey as researcher, as research guides is far from over. So once we start with our research, even though we have stopped for a few years, those who might have stopped for a few years here, not done much work, trust me, it's still there. And that's a path that's it's always there. You can always enter that route. And once you have done research, you're always a researcher. You always tend to, whether you are doing it consciously, unconsciously, it's always there. We're always talking about it. So it's your journey, but there's a word of caution. Caution is when we are acting as guides. When you're doing your own research, you travel any path you want to. One has to remember that it's your journey as a guide, and yet it's not your journey. So imposing topics that I like as a guide onto the scholar is not fair, because it's that person who has to continue with the research for the next 4 years. So initially, although they might come and ask you, Madam, kis topic pe kare? Aap bata dijiye, tell us what to do. It's important to hold back and understand that it's not my journey to be taken. It's theirs. And to understand the multiple roles that we need to play there to facilitate in their choice, to understand what can bring out the best in them, and to encourage them to take the right path. So with that, I would like to conclude my talk today. I hope I have not taken up too much time, and I have done good with time. And I would like to take up questions now. if any?
Now I would like to invite questions from the audience. Is there any query?
Yes, Chandan, please.
Madam, I wanted to ask that what care should we take while doing the chapterization of our research? What should we keep in mind?
Uh, I keep in mind two things. One, that the chapters form a complete whole. They kind of round up around the topic. It doesn't transgress into something else. Um the chapters are actually meant to, like nadi mein bandh hota hai na, so it's that kind of, putting that those the bandh around that. The second thing I take care is that the chapters need to flow into each other. It cannot be one chapter abrupt khatam, second chapter coming up with something absolutely new. They need to flow because you are moving from point A to point Z. So in between, you cannot just stop, eat up 10 alphabets and then say, oh, I have done the whole of alphabetical order. So the flow has to be maintained. The reader should feel as though you're reading a novel, where the characters are moving, the thought is moving. So that movement of thought must come across.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Suvangshi Pandey. Ma'am, I was asking what are the things that we should keep in mind when we go for writing a research paper that is based on a science fiction. Science fiction. If it's a science fiction movie, and if I have to write a research paper for it, or I need to prepare an article, what are the things that I do need to keep in mind? How to maintain the ethics of that work or whatever work
Uh,
I'm considering.
Science fiction is essentially fantasy. A lot of fantasy falls in there. So, uh, one is try not to prove the fantasy to be the truth. The paper, howsoever, now if you're writing on UFOs or if you're writing on something which is totally fictional, the paper should not transgress the barrier of trying to prove that whatever is there is the reality. That is one thing that comes to my mind. Other than that, I don't see any difference in writing a paper which is a fiction that reflects a society, or a fiction that reflects a scientific fantasy. I don't see any difference. There are no, so the same amount of literature review, same methodology, same layout you need to draw, and then draw your conclusions. There is nothing that you can do. It
So,
all
ma'am,
depends
is
on how you approach the topic. What you're writing in your topic. So you must adhere to that. Your topic should actually tell what your paper will entail,
yes, ma'am.
right?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Yes, Anita.
Ma'am, pranam.
Hi.
Ma'am,
Hello.
I want to ask one question. If we want to do some research on translation studies, if we are doing some research on translation studies, and if their culture is different from our culture, so what will be the venue? Means what exactly will be our area? What references will we be taking from our society or from their society? Because this is a translation, a kind of translation. So many translations they cannot cover. that thing, those they cannot touch the society, the cultural aspects. So, for what will be our approach towards the research, doing research in translation studies?
Uh, Two things that I understand from what you are asking. The first being that you want to do on the translated work or on the
Yes, ma'am.
original
Yes,
work.
ma'am.
You want to do on the
Translated.
translated work,
Yes,
which
ma'am.
tells me that you do not have privy into the original language.
Yes,
So the
ma'am.
work probably has been translated from, say, Russian. So you
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
know Russian. You are
Yes,
doing
ma'am.
on what has been translated to English. Now, that is your data. Your data is not what has been written originally, unless you want to do a comparative analysis of the translation with the original work.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're working on the translation, that is your primary data, that is your primary source. And you must adhere to the primary source. Now, the second part of your question, that culture is very different from my culture.
Will it be applicable to our culture if we do that research?
That is what you have to find out. What is it that you see when you read Anna Karenina? You find the huge amount of difference that is there. So, what kind of objective perspective can you hold as a researcher? there there has to be a subjectivity where you need to understand, feel, empathize, do everything, and yet there has to be an objectivity. That is what is required of a researcher.
Yes, ma'am.
So that objective point of
Yes,
view
ma'am.
has to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Thank
think
you,
the
ma'am.
difficulty will be for us to do something on works where we know the original and we know the translations, and that
Translation
is where
also.
we will be caught between the two things,
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
and we will be caught in the judgment saying that, the translation was not right.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll tell you a very very funny thing. Few days back there was it was not a conference, they called it a colloquium, a conversation in Lithuania on translations. Okay. And that is when we were talking initially, we realized that all of us has read the the masterpieces of English literature, including Three Musketeers and Round the World in 80 Days and other books, you know, in our mother tongues, in translations, shortened translations, and we have enjoyed it very much. In fact, all fantasy, everything got created then. Later on, we read it in English when we grew up and we understood the English literature. We didn't enjoy it much. The translations at that age had a much greater impact. And that can be a beautiful study in itself. We realized, that why is it that translations have a greater impact, and why is it that children take on to the translations more than adults do? Great area of research work. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, one last question.
yes.
Thank you,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for explaining all the queries. Ma'am, we have been recently approved as guides, and then our scholars come to us, and then we do chapterization. So, as per some senior experts I have come across, they say that introduction and conclusion, they should not be given this term, introduction and conclusion. They can be named in some other way, like making the writer or like that. So, ma'am, what do you say? Because we used to keep introduction and conclusion in our thesis chapterization.
I do too.
So, yeah,
I do too.
okay,
I don't give
yeah,
it fancy names, like taking a journey.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that is all okay for, writing other kinds of works.
yes,
Here, we are cutting it straight. I like calling a spade, an introduction. We don't need to call it anything else. It's conclusion, it's conclusion. But I must say this, the conclusion often I have seen, especially in the regional researches, lack two sections which talks about what are the findings very specifically, and the second is how this research can be taken forward. My findings, how they can impact the society or how it can be taken forward. I think these two
Yeah.
sections must be included in the conclusion.
Yes, ma'am. Because I came across recently that they should
Yeah,
be avoided. So,
I'm old school. I'm pretty old school that way, and I like
yes, ma'am.
calling an introduction, and a conclusion a conclusion. I don't want to call it by any other name. It's like research.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
it should,
unfamiliar.
yeah, it should be accurate, now, is what we are going to
Yeah,
say.
I mean, why do we have to show all our knowledge expertise there? And that to see, like I said, it is the work of the scholar, it's not your work. Let us understand this very, very clearly. I am just a guide. I'm not the scholar. Although, we do become scholars, we read so much, probably sometimes more than the scholar reads, because we have to tell him, you have to read this, you have to take this, in the process of guiding. We do all those. But beyond that, the enhancement of knowledge, the guide need not show their scholarship in the scholar's research work.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Another question?
Okay.
okay, that's nice.
I think there's no questions. Uh, Ma'am, we all round in your lecture, ma'am. It was very wonderful. Means, it is always wonderful listening you.
Thank you.
You have added various new genres on the platter of research today. Eh, You put deconstruction, feminism, gender and identity, ecofeminism, plural identity, female masculinity, means so much to eat. So, for formal vote of thanks, I would like to invite Mr. Chandan Soni sir to propose a vote of thanks to Dr. Somali Gupta. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Manjari madam, for this beautiful opportunity to thank the ravishing Somali Gupta madam. It was, it has always been a pleasure listening to you, madam, whether it is in a live session or whether talking to you over the phone or it comes to today's talk. I mean, it has been more than an hour, but listening to you, it feels that it has been only 15 minutes or so. Like Manjari ma'am said, we are so lost in your talk. I mean, the colloquialness, the warmth, and the affection of your communication, that is just mesmerizing. I'm short of words. And on behalf of all the researchers, we all are researchers. We have been, me and Manjari ma'am have been like enrolled, and I feel that why I could not talk to you earlier means my topic has been decided, and I should have talked to you, or I would have met you before deciding the topic. You talked about so many
So
possibilities
kind of
for
you.
choosing the research or the author. Anyways, it was really, really enlightening session indeed, and all of us from the English department are so grateful to you that you accepted our invitation and you graced the program. Thank you so much. And
Thank you. And
we
before
look
I leave, I
forward.
just want to add one more thing which
Yes,
I forgot, and that is regarding the funding and the researchers. Like I said, we are lifelong researchers, and those who are under 50, I would request them to go to the UGC website and apply for the research award. It's a wonderful opportunity to do research on your own, and that's a huge learning experience in itself. So you get 2 years leave to do your research, and you get funded for your research. You don't get a guide, so you struggle on your own, and that is when you learn many things. And UGC sponsors the entire research. So one is UGC, that is research award. Of course, those who are not working can also apply, but still have done their doctorate can apply for the postdoctoral. And there are a few schemes that are there in the UGC website. Please go there. Literature, unlike the science को तो बहुत जगह से मिल जाता है, but literature has limited fundings. But do try to tap into those and continue with the research. Thank you so much. I really
Thank you so
enjoyed,
much,
like I
ma'am.
said, this was home turf, and I took the liberty of being so informal because of all the known smiling faces that gives me this comfort.
Madam, you
That
have
made
made
your speech,
this.
yeah, that made your speech more lovable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Madam,
Thank
ma'am.
you
I
so
want
much,
to
ma'am.
add a little bit. Ma'am, many a times listening to you, I resisted myself and tempted to speak, to say something.
हाँ बोल
Your
बोल
topics and your references were so tempting to make us talk. And we look forward to meet you in person very soon, ma'am, and
And
Thank
have
you.
a
me,
lecture
me too.
in our college for our students.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Somali, for
much
being
for
with us, sir.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Neelu. Thank Anita.
Thank welcome.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So moving forward, after mesmerizing, wonderful session of Dr. Somali ma'am, uh, I would like to, for second session, I would like to invite Dr. Jyoti Patil ma'am. Before inviting her, I would like to, means on behalf of my organizing team, we appreciate your gesture ma'am, because at last moment you accepted our request and propound your lecture for today because of some medical emergency at Dr. Anup sir's home. He requested to postpone his lecture. We all hope everything will be fine at Dr. Tiwari's place. So, to invite to deliver or to introduce Dr. Jyoti Patil ma'am, I would like to invite Mr. Chandan Sonik sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manjari ma'am. It is our pleasure and honor for us to invite Dr. Jyoti Patil Madam for today's second lecture, the keynote speaker, Dr. Jyoti Patil Madam. Madam is presently principal at Renuka College, Nagpur. Just a second. Madam is presently the principal of Renuka College, Nagpur, and she has a number of degrees, starting from MA in English Literature and the degree in Law, DTE, naturally PhD, and also a DLit from MSCIT. Madam has a huge experience of 34 years in teaching and administration. She has been working as a principal for more than 13 years. Madam holds a number of important positions on national and international platforms. To start with, uh, Madam is assessor of the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, that is NAC, and at the same time, Vice President of Maharashtra State Chapter Research Foundation of India. Madam is a trained trainer from Infosys, that is language training, and Madam is a supervisor, PhD supervisor at RTM Nagpur University, external examiner in 5 universities around the country, external expert for academic and administrative audit in Sholapur University, resource person for orientation and refresher courses organized by the Academic Staff College, Nagpur University and Amravati University. She has graced the occasions with the capacity of resource person at recent NAC uh, accreditation and framework on national education, new education policy 2020, and also a certificate course in Shakespearean studies and enhancing communication skills for smart teaching. Madam is executive member of Association of Indian College Principals, all India level association it is. Then executive member for Center of Literary Interaction and Creativity, executive member of Organ Donation Movement in Nagpur. Madam is reviewer and referee of two international journals and several local and national journals. Madam has been keynote speaker, plenary speaker, and chairperson at number of national and international conferences. Madam has been the president of ISPEL, National Forum, Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature, of which I am also a part in a small capacity in Chhattisgarh Forum. When we talk about the recognition and awards that Madam have received, the list is too long. I will mention a few ones. Golden Book of World Records for poems in GEMS 3rd 2020. Madam has bagged other Shikshak Puraskar by Maharashtra Teachers Council in 2009. National level award Indrani Jagjivan Ram Rashtriya Samman Padak in 2012. शिक्षक रत्न पुरस्कार, मणिरत्न शिक्षक गौरव अवार्ड, वर्ल्ड एनवायरमेंट
हेलो
एजुकेशन अवार्ड,
मैं थोड़ी देर में बात करती हूँ, मैं सेशन में हूँ. हाँ, सेशन.
देवी अहिल्या स्मृति नेशनल अवार्ड. And you would be surprised to know that Madam has presented numerous papers, but for 6 times at international conferences, she has won the Best Paper Presenter Award. On 6 times. Madam's special areas of interest are Indian English fiction, Indian women writers, diaspora writing, and new technology in English teaching. Madam is not only a researcher, a principal, an academician, but she is also a poet. She has written a number of, not number of poems, but she has produced 2 anthologies, Living Beyond Life and Nagpur City, Poet's Delight. These two are poems collections written by Madam. And Madam has authored authored and edited about 10 books to her credit and 33 chapters in literary books. Research paper, the list is too long. Overall, it is more than 200, including national and international. Contributed articles and poems in newspapers like Hitwad, Dainik Bhaskar, and Hans India, etc. As a critique, Madam has written reviews for 13 novels published in various journals. Not only in academic, but extracurricular activities. And as a student, I can see Madam has been very active, and I can say she has been an athlete and a cadet. She has played Kho and hockey. She has not only played, but represented on state level. When she was a student, she has played table tennis at university level. She is rank holder, and in athletics, cricket, volleyball, she has played for her college, and in NCC she holds the C certificate. Senior Under Officer award she has had in NCC, and also won Best Cadet and Best Tutor award when she was a student. A number of community services Madam has been associated with. She is a registered organ donor, and regularly she has been donating to old age homes, and the list goes on and on. So it is really our great honor to have with us as the keynote speaker for the second session, Madam. And now I welcome you to please deliver your lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Chandan Soni ji, for such an elaborate and generous introduction. So I'm feeling a little nervous that who is that person you just talked about so much at length. The person's actually introduction is his appearance, the way he talks and what he does. So with that, a fine and warm afternoon to everyone. When June comes dancing over the death of May and the weather gets hotter and sultry, celebrating the longer days and warmer weather with a message of bidding goodbye to scorching summer. We wave hello to rainy days, waiting for the relieving aqua drops to drizzle and drench. So, with this hope to get drenched in the pool of knowledge edition, I welcome you all in this second sultry session. Respected patron of the FDP, Principal Dr. K.L. Tandekar, conveners, both the conveners of this national level virtual workshop on basics of research methodology, Dr. I.D. Tiwari from Indira Sangeet Vishwavidyalaya, and Dr. Anita Shankar of the same college, Government Digvijay Autonomous PG College, Rajnandgaon. Organizing secretary, Dr. Neelu Srivastav, quite dynamic, constantly in touch, okay, and she keeps me informed about this FDP, about this workshop. Organizing members, Chandan Soni, Anita Saha, Manjari Singh, and all the enthusiastic, energetic, and learned participants who have who have joined this virtually. And once again, good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I congratulate the
Good
team TDA PGC and IKSV for keeping this academic excellence aloft in all areas of learning, especially in academic research, which has assumed a vital importance in the wake of NEP 2020. So at the inaugural session, luckily, I attended the inaugural session, Dr. Adna Palta, Honorable Vice Chancellor Hemchand Yadav University, Durga, who also exhorted you all with her inevitable signature style. I recently got an opportunity to meet this dynamic personality regarding NAC visit to Durg College. And she was generous enough to give us an autograph copy of her book related to eating habits. Today is the second day, and mine is the second session. The impression of the first session of Dr. Somali Gupta, who has talked about research, it's all in the name, and she has many names into it. Shakespeare has said, "What's in the name?" But there, everything there, quite she managed it so quite impressively, and that her talks impression still lingers. I hope I'll be able to add some more little drops for food for thought regarding research and research writing. So let's begin with the hope that I will meet the time frame given by the organizers set for my lecture. I would like to share. So if you have permitted me to share. Yeah, I've shared. Let me know if it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
It's visible.
Yes.
Yeah. You see, this is the title slide, the topic you have taken, and when we talk of research, it means the creation of new knowledge or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way, so as to generate new concepts, methodologies, and understandings. This could include synthesis and analysis of previous research to the extent that it leads to new and creative outcomes. You see, there is usually a bit of tension and confusion among students when one is about to start a research project. At this juncture, your state of mind resembles the now picture. Confused, where to begin, what to do, how to do, and we have lot many questions, even question as teachers, questions as guide, and questions of students are aplenty. However, a better awareness of this research process and culture can reduce the agony a little. Obviously, the journey is difficult, but the gain is worth the pain. The latter picture can be of jubilation when things at hand are dealt with properly. So, let's hope that we will have an addition to it. My topic today is research tools for literary research and latest style citation. And clearly, I have chosen two vital areas to discuss today. Yes, I actually decided to deliberate in three compartments earlier. But now I will be talking because I wanted to touch upon the basics of literary research, but I have skipped that, and I will now talk about the need of online research tools, various online research tools, and I'll touch upon latest style citations a little bit because it will be difficult to cover everything in one presentation. So let's talk about what's the need of online research tools, since we are doing it so well going to library, referring books, and we have hard copies of things. So what's the need of it? So in undertaking any research project, always record the route you take, whether via online or printed resources. This process is important as you will benefit greatly by logging your research trail. The majority of online sources will require you to enter their website through your own institution's authenticated gateways. You see, sometimes you have that end list in your college library that will help you. That is after entering your user ID and password to log on to your university account or college account or the library account you have. But with this authenticated gateway, you can get into these things. Otherwise, in general, if you do the Google search, it will not help you. I will talk about it in detail in later part. Simply typing or pasting a URL, that is link, we know URL link, into your web browser address window won't always offer you access or full benefits from online resources. Your university or college library will usually have an institutional subscription to a variety of online resources, and so you need to log in through its sites. And in order fully to benefit from a range of access rights, such as full text or exploring search results, these things are very important. So we have to go stepwise. Now, this is the time that you cannot avoid it. Online resources are very important. But I have noticed in some universities, still they have some aversions related to using this online resources. But it is very important that they should be authenticated and they should be properly cited. Preparation here is the key to effectiveness in scholarly research. Survey what is available online before you arrange a visit to a library, as a large number of scholarly journals, books, both primary sources and criticism, reference work or secondary resources as you call it, they are all available online. Start your research by finding out what is easily available online and focus on what else you need to locate before visiting a library in person. You should therefore create a hierarchy in your approach to research. So first you have to be clear that what area of research, in what area you are going to initiate your research, and that you have to go through these journals, books, and reference work. And this very later part, actually, this choosing the topic comes quite late. So the first step will be identify what is available online, familiarize yourself with the main digital resources that are available to you through public access sites, as well as those offered through your home institution. And secondly, visit your own university library, college library, either in person or via its website if they have online or a e-library facility, and familiarize yourself with both the available electronic as well as material holdings. And the next thing is identify your nearest major research libraries, including the British Library, other digital libraries. It's very important that you should have the list of those libraries in advance of your visit. Identify specific sources, books, journals, articles that you have not been able to find either online or in your college libraries, in print collections. So many recent publications are generally not available, but these days online you have Kindle, you have Amazon, and you can have access. And online libraries are wonderful things that you can explore, and you can get plenty of material and organize your research trip around these areas. And then you can start with the internet. Using the internet will be essential to literary research. You need to be aware of what you can find there and develop key skills so that you can get the most out of it. The internet is a multimedia resource, and you will find not just text, but images, video clips, audio material, and so on and so forth. Make sure that you are aware of basic research skills, search skills, can manage your web browser, understand the terminology in common usage before you start your research. You can develop your internet and searching skills competence by utilizing the skills Safari, which I have shared here. Okay, skills in accessing, finding, and reviewing information that will help you a lot. And there are many more links like that which can help you even in expertising yourself in accessing things, finding things, and then utilizing them in your research. Now, the next step is talking about the various online research tools. No matter what your field of research is, let it be literary, academic, exploratory, there is an online tool out there to help you organize your notes, cite your sources, find important articles, connect with colleagues, and much more. However, with so many options available at a mouse click, it gets difficult to find a tool that delivers best results, as the search for reliable resources can be frustrating at times. If you are conducting research, yes, these are the important tools you can use. Project management tools, academic writing tools, reference management tools, plagiarism checkers, journal finder, social networking for academics, grammar checker tools, free online statistical testing tools. So if you are conducting your research, it's very important that you have appropriate methods and tools to carry out your research. If you are a non-native English speaker, and we all are, then you need a research tool to help you with your written language. Even if we publish our book, we need this kind of a help, that the language is correct and there is no grammatical mistake or construction mistake. If your research involves data analysis, then you need a good statistical research tool for your work. And it is also important that you keep tabs on what other people in your research arena are doing. So you need research tools such as Google Scholar, ResearchGate, okay, to collaborate with your peers. And you also need a good plagiarism checking software to avoid academic misconduct. You need a research project management software to stay on top of the deadline, because it's a long and lengthy process. To cut it short and to make it in a smarter way, it's very important that you should have research project management software. And in this presentation, definitely I will touch upon some of these tools in detail. When we talk about project management tools, it is easy for your research project to go out of hands when you are multitasking and dealing with multiple deadlines. It is a good practice to choose a project management tool to keep on top of your research project. These tools can help you minimize the amount of time you spend on managing the project, and instead of concentrating on research work. Okay, so these things are very important for the students in particular, but even as a research paper writer or doing some project, minor or major research project, you need this tool. Okay, and find this tool that allows you to lay out what is to be done and how it is to be done and by whom. There are plenty of research project management tools available on the screen. You can see, can simply pick up one that suits your research project, and you can see Microsoft project. The Microsoft products are all free if you have Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft project, Microsoft OneNote, then Todoist, Asana, Atlassian, Trello. These are some. I'm going to talk about one or two here in my next slide. Trello is something different. It allows users to organize their ideas through the use of panel, cards, lists. Do you remember initially when we were pursuing our PhD or our research work, we used to have those cards, and we used to have all the information, reference information in those cards. So it is a kind of a substitute for this. It is an easy to access system with a simple drag and drop cards function. It allows users to list and schedule activities, establish completion times, and view progress percentage. And that means you can organize your things in a better way and a faster way. It offers free and paid versions depending on the user's requirements. So generally we prefer to have free versions, but free versions have limited limited offerings. But in paid versions, you have all the help you require when you start your work. Okay, so Trello is one which gives you the free version also. So you try the free version, and if you are satisfied and you need more services, you can go for the paid version. Next is Gantt Pro, which I have taken. It is an online Gantt chart program for project management that allows intuitive creation of schedules. It is a paid software, okay, which also offers free trial version. The free trial version is there, but it is a paid version. Okay, while using a Gantt chart, you can immediately see all the information you need on your chart, including your team tasks, sequences, deadlines, priorities, and it is hosted in the cloud, which makes it easily accessible for every team member using any web browser. So when the group activities are done, this kind of actually tools are really very handy. So you can use when you are doing it in a collaborative manner. Now let's talk about academic writing tools. This is very, very important. Let it be any other, even the science research or any kind of humanities research, you need the writing tool. You can use this to polish your writing by substituting colloquial terms, information, as you can see on your screen. Ref and Write, okay? That is Ref and Write, academic writing tool. You have all these available, okay? Helpings here is referencing tools, paraphrasing tool, academic phrase bank, means it's going to give you help in phrasing, even making sentences, plagiarism checker. So again, you have all in all here, and you can use this as I have told you, that for informal statements in your text with academically acceptable words and phrases. This research tool is fantastic to look up for writing ideas from related research papers or documents from your colleagues. So this is one interface, okay? This link will, through this link you can search for it. Ref and Write, it's a wonderful tool, and I think after my lecture you will definitely try it. Okay, it has that Write tool actually also comes with a database of academic and scientific phrases. Okay, and here you can have a kind of a useful links, and you can watch a video also. So let's see, a little demo video is there. Yes, so in this way, it is all in all and is really very helpful and easy to use. Next is Scribber. Scribber is a little bit professional. It is also an online platform for proofreading, editing services. Even editors generally use it remotely for all over the world for their writers. Here, my aim is to tell you that how these easily usable things can be. There can be proofreading, plagiarism checker is again here, citation tools are there. You need not go anywhere. You just have click the MLA APA and you have those tools easily. You can have those references, and then you have a knowledge base also, information regarding your area of research or topic, whatever you need is so handy. You just click it and you will get lot much of information here. And this is there that it is actually not a standard academic writing service. It offers professional kind of a proofreading and plagiarism service. So this is its interface. Let us proceed. That next is reference management tool. Years ago, references were manually organized on index card, as I have already told you, an awkward and time-consuming process. Citation management software, actually, it was introduced in 80s, and it used primarily to organize references, search databases for articles on a particular topic, and generate bibliographies. Okay, popular tools include here RefWork, again, that RefWork I talked about, okay, EndNote, then Zotero, Mendeley, F1000 Workplace. So let's talk about Mendeley first, because it's a freely available reference management tool, okay, to streamline your referral management workflow. It allows you to store, organize, and search all your references in just one library and generate citations. So it's very easy. You have lot much of material. So organize that material to be utilized in your writing. So you need this kind of a help, and Mendeley comes quite handy. It also includes citation options using various writing style guides needed as per your target journal. So your target journal needs the 7th edition, so it will help you to have all your paper into the 7th edition style of MLA. Next is EndNote. EndNote is actually a paid reference management application which allows researchers to insert citations into the text while simultaneously creating a bibliography with it. Means it's so handy that you simultaneously, the bibliography is also created. So they say it's cite while you write, okay? And this feature in MS Word can be used. EndNote can be used in MS Word, okay? And additionally, it aligns and formats the article as per the requirements of the journal of interest using manuscript matcher. And this is a wonderful tool with it, that you can immediately match what you really want, okay, as per your requirements. And furthermore, it organizes references automatically and enables sharing of work amongst remote computers. So even you can do the sharing also. So references can be shared and can be managed so wonderfully well. But for that, you have to pay. That RefWork, which I have already talked about, it is also taken as a bibliographical management tool, okay, which can help you to produce and keep updated bibliographies, and thereby keeping a real-time record of your research work. Sometimes you see in bibliography you need it updated, or the new publications or the new editions. So it helps in that. You might also be able to acquire commercial bibliographic management software. So EndNote is a commercial one, as I told you, and through your institution you can purchase this at discounted rate. But RefWork is currently the tool that is supported by the library and university. Generally, it is being used by most of the libraries and universities. So you will find it quite comfortable for you, and which I have already talked about, that is all in all kind of a tool. Next is plagiarism detection software tools. So you have some independent tools, but you have some package tool also. They are reference tools, management tools, and plagiarism tools as well. Plagiarism occurs when you copy and paste a large chunk of text from a document written by someone else without giving credit to the author. And this is seen as copying and taking credits for somebody else's work. Even if you paraphrase the text and use it in your text, it will still be seen as plagiarism. One of the common forms of plagiarism is self-plagiarism. And self-plagiarism is the use of one's own previous work in another context without citing that it was already used previously. And yeah, this is a small, you see, cartoon where he says that you want that my facts are wrong, but I have taken everything straightly from the internet. Now, there are useful links to avoid getting your manuscript rejected and constantly affecting your image as a researcher. It is wise to run your manuscript through a plagiarism checker tool. Yes, but we need free checking tool. That is important. And these tools can not only help you in checking this plagiarized content, but also help easily adding sources and automatically correcting grammar issues, getting citation help, and fixing other writing issues instantly. So fixing punctuation errors, easily improving any any text, eliminating any grammar error. So that is with that there is of course a big list of it. Turnitin, Scribber is again here, Viper, Paperator, Write Check, Plagiarism Detector, Plagiarism Software, Duplichecker, Plagium, then Plaque Tracker. So in this way we have many. Even in our university we use Urkund, okay, which I have not listed here. That is a paid version. Mostly they are paid version, but there are some free versions also which can be utilized. Here I am talking about the paid version, Inago's Plagiarism Checker. Okay, it's a unique tool for quick comprehension and dependable plagiarism checking, especially for research. So it helps you assess the originality of a manuscript using advanced plagiarism software and provides a report highlighting areas in your text if the program recognizes existing material in it. So everything, the report will have not only the percentage, but you will have that highlighted areas from where you have taken even the list, and the link will also be given. So this is a wonderful thing. Institution can have it even for the teachers can avail this facility, and NAC approves all these things. If you have in your research policy, you can have this kind of a checkup. Okay. So Duplichecker is another one, offers a free version. Is a free version for text up to 1,000 words, and for the paid version you have to have more. If you have more words, then you have to pay for it. It provides plagiarism percentage and highlights similar content to the list of sources. So, however, it does not provide detailed report. So the detailed report is not done. As in the previous one, it was done. That was that Inago. So I recommend that a university or a reputed institute like yours should have Inago in place of Duplichecker. Duplichecker on personal level, you can try to use it. Okay. Next is journal finder. It's very difficult, very challenging to get the appropriate journal or best journal for your paper. Okay. So the finders can help you. The journal search engine help researchers to choose the best suitable journal for publishing, and you can publish your papers in a very reputed journals. The two effective, reliable journal finder tools here I'm going to talk about: Inago Open Access Journal Finder, that is Inago OAJF, and Elsevier Journal Finder. But there are many. Okay. This Inagos, which we have already seen, okay, for the plagiarism checking. This is a robust and a very, very promising tool, okay, for a journal finder. It's freely available tool that protects you from falling prey to predatory publishers, and it is free. Inago, the plagiarism checking was not free, but this is free. It solves issues such as journal legitimacy and reports, articles, processing fees, and that is through a journal index validating and issued by the Directory of Open Access Journal. You know, that is DOAJ, Directory of Open Access Journals. Okay, it allows you to find pre-screened and quality journals in the public domain. So it is exclusively search algorithm allows you to compile a concise list of journals related to your research work. So what kind of research work you are doing, there may be repeated journals. You can get access through this journal finder. Next is Elsevier, but here also I have given some other list also with Elsevier, the Springer Journal Suggestion, then Village Journal Finder, and IEEE Journal Recommender. So there are some other things, but mostly they are used by the technical, okay, researchers. Elsevier can be used especially for the this literary research. It allows you to enter the title and abstract of your article to easily find journals that are most likely suitable for your publication. You just enter the title and abstract of your area, and you can find so many journals available, repeated journals, and it uses intelligent search technology and vocabulary specific to a corresponding research field to match your article to scientific journals. So scientific journals, as well as it is for literary journals or humanities journals, can be used. Next, I'll be talking about social networking for academics. Now, social networking for literary research also. Now, academia.edu. Perhaps you must all be aware, and perhaps you must be the member, or you must be getting messages from academia.edu. It's a freely accessible platform for sharing research documents and connecting with academics across the globe. As of now, over 22 million articles and about 31 million academicians, professionals, researchers, they're active on this platform. So even I suggest, if you are not, even students can come forward and they can join. You can receive notifications when you are cited and referenced, acknowledged as co-author, and express gratitude for your cooperation. So academia is a wonderful tool, social tool, I should say. It's a social research tool. Next is ResearchGate. Okay, ResearchGate is a social networking site for people doing research again, and the site contains more than 11 million members that include scientists, academicians, PhD students, researchers, and this user can create an account using a valid institutional email address. If you want to register, you have to use the email address should be institution. It should not be Gmail, okay, @Gmail. It should be your college name or any initial of the college, okay. It should be the official email address. Once you do it successfully, then you can create a profile, load your pictures, list publications, upload full text papers, and ResearchGate is actually a perfect research tool for researchers and academics looking for collaborations. And we come to know about who are actually pursuing the research in your area, and you can contact them, you can collaborate with them, you can exchange the ideas, okay, and the material. So it's a wonderful thing, and to try actually joining ResearchGate as well. This is the interface of ResearchGate, and this is the paper somebody you can have. If you go, you can find the related papers. So one paper is given here. Okay, I'll proceed. Now, Google. Now you can ask me why Google. Google, just now recently I said that using Google for research, the literary search or research, not really advisable. But now here I'm going to give you some clues about it. It is indispensable research tool. How? Although it is only a decade ago that Google has become an indispensable research tool, as a literary researcher, you will use it frequently. The biggest problem you will face when conducting a Google search is the sheer number of hits returned. Okay, and whether you are getting those information are authentic, and if you get the official document or a full document, that is actually a challenge. And there are a number of ways in which you can delimit search fields and maximize the retrieval of relevant information. You can restrict your search by language, domain, national territory, date range, type of material, and file format. Okay, using this advanced search function and entering a specific phrase, you see here I have given the phrase that is inverted comma. Okay, that will greatly improve the accuracy of your search, as it will search for only that particular combination. See here. Yes, here you can see that I have put post-colonial within quotes. And if you do this and try this and you search, and your search will have very, very authentic actually material here, and you will get it when you put inverted commas to your for your search. Okay. Yeah, it is like this. Next is actually you can also undertake a synonym search by placing a tilde. So the next is, I have written down tilde here, but the mark is not given, but still it has some result, and you can see those results. Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah, you can see I have just written down tilde, and the result is, yeah, see here, the result is like this. Means you immediately get Wikipedia, and even Wikaspedia can also be seen here. Wikaspedia, you know, which is related to Swayam, this thing course. That also provides you a lot much of material. So this is one. Next is, I use the mark, tilde mark, before that search term. Okay, and specifically, yes, after the search this thing. Next is, this is the tilde mark, and once I use the tilde mark, you can see the search is even more specific, and you get much of material which you really require. So that makes things easier for you. Even putting minus or plus before the term you need, okay, that will also help you. All these can be used together to refine your search, and this will really help you in finding for the advanced search. Okay, next is Google Book. So here actually I told you how you can immediately get that Google Book in your Google. If you go for this A9 girdles, okay, 9 grid, okay, dots, you just click it here, and you will have so many apps of Google apps. Here, if you go down, okay, scroll down, and you find book here. There are so many apps, they are wonderful. Even Blogger is there. Okay, so when you click this book, Google Books, yes, Google Books appear. Google Book Search actually is offer a remarkable and a constantly growing virtual library. It's a virtual library, and copyright material is available in limited preview or snippet mode. Okay, a page range or excerpts only. So while non-copyright books can sometimes be read, copyright books you have to seek the permission, and you can, non-copyright books can be downloaded, can be read, printed in their entirety. Okay, Google Book Search is often an excellent source for accessing sometimes difficult books to acquire. Sometimes pre 900 primary sources, 9 means century before, you have some book, want to search some book which is not published recently, a century back or something. There it becomes so handy. Here you have to type the title of your book or any such. Try to do that. It is very easy. You just open the Google, go to Google Books, as I told you, and you will find these searches will help you like anything. So there are two things you should always bear in mind when using them properly. Okay, and these two things are that as a matter of routine, always note the exact bibliographical details of the book, including edition detail. Sometimes when you cite them and you forget, you use those okay lines, and then you forget, and you are unable to then cite them, okay, in the works cited list, and you cannot quote them. They are accessed through Google Book Search, and as you need to be systematic and consistent in your citation from it, okay. The second is, always record the precise URL for the digitized source, okay, so that you can find it again without having actually to repeat the original search. Okay, so you have to copy the link. Now these days we know how to copy the link, URL link, that you have to keep. So these two things you have to keep it in mind, that jot down all the bibliographical details which you have to use in citing, and then second is copy the URL of the finding you have got through all these things. Now, next is Wikipedia. Again, you will say Wikipedia, and I'm going to talk about Wikipedia because in 9th edition, Wikipedia is being removed and untouched, I should say. Wikipedia is a free online encyclopedia, we all know, created and edited by volunteers around the world and hosted by the Wikimedia studies. They have shown the Wikipedia is about as accurate as Britannica. They say it's is very accurate, absolutely accurate. But you see, you can't say original is original. It is founded on the collaborative social knowledge construction or wiki model that they call. It is useful tool for literary researchers. An excellent guide on how to use the resource is available here. When you click this link, I have given you a link here, how to, okay, the link, you can just click the link and you can see how Wikipedia works, and that will definitely help you in your research. For the longer research, for PhD research, definitely you can touch upon. And you have variety of other areas where Wikipedia has actually explored. One is Wikimedia. Okay, it's a non-profit foundation that created Wikipedia and also hosts Wikibooks. It has also Wikibooks. Okay, so Wikibooks it's again a this is a you can say a kind of free textbooks you can find here. Then wiki spaces, dictionary of species you have. Okay, wiki codes, you have compilation of codes here, so many codes, number of courses. And Wiki University is actually a space for hosting courses. Wiki University, whatever, even e-content if you have created, you can upload your e-content there and you can utilize the e-content available there. So it's a kind of a versatile space for hosting courses or other content. Okay, and faculty can develop course page with syllabi, lesson plan, and other notes for students to access wherever they need it. Okay, page can also be linked to videos. Okay, but a small proportion of the material that you will encounter on Wikipedia will be inaccurate, out of date, and purely referenced or incorrect. So there are possibility of mistake, or you can say not appropriate, incorrect, inaccurate. So there are some possibilities. That's why for official research or a PhD research, these kinds of things are not approved. And even in 9th edition of MLA, that's why it has been avoided. Next is Google Scholar. In that list, I told you that if you go to the Google, Google, the 9 dots you have, you can click. There are so many apps, wonderful apps. You can use it for free. But Google Scholar is not there. It is an additional one. It is a free online research tool, again, offered by Google, as the name suggests, and it is a searchable database for scholarly research. This is an excellent tool for research. And since it's free, up till now I have been telling you all the paid versions. These things are free and excellent. And it not only searches well-known databases, it also looks for articles in university repository. And so your chances of finding the full text PDF of research article, we are after that is very high. Means the chances are very high. You can get the research articles you need. You can set up your keyword alerts so that Google Scholar notifies you when there is any new article related to your field. Okay, or from your co-authors. You can manage multiple libraries of papers, and here you can manage so many things here with Google Scholar. So please try Google Scholar, and there are other varieties here, links here which can help you in your scholarly publishing your paper. Okay, Scholar blog, that is Nature article on Google Scholar, inserting fake references. So other links also you can go. You can label paper or article, and Google Scholar will organize them for you. Google Scholar displays vital information about that article, such as citation number, version. You know that what is the citation number of your paper, versions, and other articles citing the current article. So it's also alerts you if somebody else has cited your paper. Okay. Yes. Now I come down to social bookmarking. So bookmarking is very important. Now, earlier we have the hard bookmarking. Whenever we are reading a book, we used to have a bookmark, and then we can continue from there. A simple process of saving the address of a website in a favorite folder of your web browser so that you can find it again later. Social bookmarking actually takes this process two steps further for the research work. How? The social bookmarking, firstly, instead of saving the bookmarks for your favorite folder, it saves them online. And the great advantage of this is that you can then access them from any computer, not just one that you saved them on, okay, simply by logging into your social bookmarking account. And this enables you to access your favorite sites from wherever you actually are, rather than wherever you bookmark the site. So this is again wonderful site. There are some bookmarking social sites. I can suggest you some. That is Delicious, Dig, Reddit, Facebook also offers you, and Stumble Upon. So any of these you can use. These days, the Delicious actually been taken over by other pinboard, and that's why it is not available. Delicious is not available for common use. They have restricted the use of it. It's only subscription based use service. Okay, so you can use Reddit, Dig, okay, for your bookmarking. Or this is the general bookmarking. Generally we go with these three. Just click these three dots on your on your computer, then you have this drop down list. Here you have bookmarks. You click the big bookmark, then you have so many variety here of bookmarking the tabs. Okay, bookmark manager. Okay, all these things you try to search those things. These things will definitely help you a lot. Yeah. And now next is Microsoft Word. Generally we use it, and perhaps when you are sitting using a computer work, you are doing something on Microsoft Word. So in case you didn't know, Microsoft comes with editor and researcher tools to complement the ones. Now that recent versions are coming with editor and research tools clearly, commonly used and have at your disposal. The researcher in Word helps you research topics, find reliable sources, add content with citations, all within Word. So just open the Word document and you are doing you start your research work. Researcher for Word is only available if you have Microsoft 365 subscription. And in the following language you have, perhaps you have in English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese. Okay. So English, we generally do it, and we can even use the option to automatically create your citations and directly add quotes to your research paper. So you don't have to worry about writing references in MS Word. Okay, this eliminates the hard work that includes finding, inserting, citing any published sources you use. Isn't it a wonderful tool, giving you more time to refine and strengthen your thesis rather than going back and digging up more research to support it? You see, this kind of references is here. You see these on the above, the blue strip is actually the tabs. If you click the references tab, there is some difference, disturbance. Okay, this references, if you click the references tab, then only a ribbon will open. Okay, action ribbon will open, and here you have the researcher. But it is in the new version of Microsoft Word. If you don't have that, don't worry. Even then you have some help here, and that help is, if you click the references, you will have this ordinary, okay, this ribbon, okay, of action tabs, and there are so many things you can see, which definitely I'll show it, highlighting them. Okay, so you can see that insert, citation, style, bibliography, so many things you can manage here, and they are really, really wonderful, which will help you. Here I have used with this one of my documents. I'll let you know the you can see there that insert citation. You can insert the citation here. You can also have this thing. Just a minute. Yeah, here also you can see insert table figure, insert index and tables, if cross references, insert caption, so many things. You can mark entries. This will help you a lot in doing your work in a easy steps. And if you really want to have that style, you just click it here, okay? And if you click this the style, now here it is APA. If you click this arrow button, you can have MLA style, and you can use MLA style also. So see here, the MLA style is here. APA 6th edition is here, since mine is the old one. Now APA 7th edition actually has come. Even MLA 7th edition is here, but now 8th edition, and now I'm going to talk about the 9th edition in my coming slides. Okay, so this is there. You just click it, and then your references will be done as it is. Because if you click MLA and that's insert citation, that create source will come, the type of book, and you just fill it up. Okay, for biography fills for MLA, how author, title, year, city, publication, publisher, medium. Okay, and put okay, and in this manner this will be added to your paper. And if you pick bibliography, you see you have already set bibliography here. Okay, bibliography references will be like this, work cited will be like this. Okay, so you can insert these things, and your material will be in this fashion. It will be done. You need not remember where full stop, where italics is used, where commas are used. Okay, so they are wonderful tools. Next is review tab. Review tab is also there. Okay, so see on the top of it, you see these are the tabs. If you click the tab, there is a whole list of this ribbon of action. Buttons are open. Then you can use it. So first you have to click the review button. Earlier we have actually clicked the references button. Okay, and we got so many things. Now even review button can help you, and especially they can help the reviewer. Okay, or those who do that peer review of the papers. They can help you. I mean, the students can do this. A review will have these tabs. You can see spelling. If it is not seen, I will. Yeah. Now you can see spelling, grammar, define thesaurus. Word count is there. Translate language. Okay, you can put a comment, insert a comment on that. Okay, then other things also, markup, that reviewing panel. This is a wonderful thing. Whether you are accepting or rejecting, everything will be there online. How it will be done? Let's see. Yes, when you have clicked define, you have that dictionaries here. You just put that word. If you have saved any word, city, the meaning of city will come here. You just select some word and view for this definition or spelling or grammar. Okay, they will have this kind of a side panel. The thesaurus panel is open, and you can see for city there are some names or meanings. Different meanings actually have come. The city, and you can also listen to city, means how it is pronounced. So many things you can do here so easily. Even for your daily this thing work, you can use it. Word count also helps you, so you can count the pages, the words, characters so easily in review. In review tab, if you click, you can find this word tab here. And even the translation is a wonderful thing which helps you a lot. Now comment, translate your, even if you have written down anything in Hindi, you just copy it here on the side tab, you will paste it. Okay, the meaning, all Hindi words will be translated into English. So it's very easy. The translation and language help you a lot. But here I have taken the comment for reviewers. Okay, you can click now, select any word, and you can comment here whether it is grammar construction is correct or not. So online you can correct your students' mistakes. Okay, review panel is there. So grown is actually grown up. It is written down here. Okay. Then you have, yes, here you have revision. you can see here. Just a minute, I'll highlight this. Yeah. So there's Microsoft account commented grown up. So the grown should be grown up. So this correction Microsoft has commented, given here. So then you in the reviewing panel, you can have the comment below here, as it is being. There is a detector also, okay, Grammarly, and it will help you in MS Word, WordPress, Facebook. In all these three things, you can have it. And some, of course, the services are paid, but you can use the free services of Grammarly, which will help you in detecting the construction mistakes or spelling mistakes. It's a wonderful tool. You can use it in on your computer. If with the Word file also, you can use it. With MS Word, you can use it. So this is the interface of it. Microsoft Outlook, with that you can use. Okay, so here if you have some material you post here, it will immediately check and correct it. You have told me a year is not written, so add this, and it will add. So please, you can install it. It is free, and it is really good for initially writing something or correcting those grammar. Okay, these are some steps, and if you have the paid version, you have all these things, okay, done. And ultimately this kind of a report will be there. Okay, that the write-up is here. The mistakes have been shown on the side of it. You can see the mistake few grown up is, okay, cities, the city, the way it is corrected. So you can see the corrections. Yeah. Okay. The next is, now my first portion is over. The next one is style citation. Madam, if I have overstepped the time, so should I stop or should I continue? Please tell me. Hello.
Ma'am, continue. Ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, thank you. Since because it's already 1:30. Okay, so it will take 15 to 20 minutes because perhaps I will try
Yes,
to
ma'am.
hurry up. Okay. Now,
Yes,
style
ma'am.
citation, I have not gone into the details of everything. Okay, I have pinpointed the difference between MLA 8 and MLA 9. Okay. And we know that that all the sources, whether online, printed, or unpublished, need to be cited as fully, as accurately as possible. So let's move and see this 9th edition of MLA, which we generally for literary work or humanities, we use it, Modern Language Association, MLA. So now a 9th edition has come. Okay, and we generally up till now we are not using, still people are using 7th edition, but there are drastic changes in 8th edition. But 9th edition is something which with actually a concurrent one, I should say. And 7th edition of APA, American Psychological Association, used by education, psychology and sciences. Okay, that is APA. Sometimes we send some paper, okay, they need APA style. Okay, and they also publish the handbook, which is called the publication manual. Okay, and that dictates the format and style of paper publications for the science people particularly. And there is another style, 17th edition of Chicago, the 8th edition of Turabian. So I will cut short it. I will not talk about it since we are not going to touch upon them. Okay, now let's talk about the MLA style citations. 2009 we had 7th edition, 2016 we had the 8th edition, and now 2021 we had we have now the 9th edition. The difference between 7th and 8th edition was massive. And remember when in 2016 they gave us containers, okay, in MLA 8th MLA style. The 9th edition is just an extension of this 8th edition of MLA. Perhaps 98% of the citation style have been retained, and more visual examples have given to clear our doubts. Like a textbook, it has a big grammar section, and it is twice as large as 8th edition. Okay, it is about using inclusive language in your research. Even they talk about endnotes and footnotes. That is new to the 9th edition are actually hundreds of additional examples and citations and visuals, expanded guidance on formatting papers, citing sources, quoting, paraphrasing, avoiding plagiarism, an entirely new section on inclusive language. Okay, so that we are going to see it not in detail, in short only, and 2 sections of annotated bibliography they have. See, we have this standard citation example. Okay, in text, there is in text citation, and that's a citation. We do it in work cited list. This is the list we use to follow it: author, title of the source, title of container, contributor, version, number, publisher, publication date, and location. So this was the 8th edition, this thing where you have written author's name with the surname first, last name first, okay, with comma, first name letter, the title, okay, in inverted commas, the work you have taken, and the title of the collection means the container, okay, can be in italics, okay, and publisher, the place of publishing is gone, okay, year of publication, and for page or page range you can have pp, because you have the page range 241 to 64, okay. And here in your in text you can only use the writer's surname, and without any using any punctuation mark, just the page number, okay, which from which page you have taken those lines, okay. So we will talk about it in detail. Here the author's first name, here last first, okay, and then first, then title of in quotation, then in italics you have container, then publisher, then year, okay. And you also see the full point and the commas and page numbers. So location, this is called location, page numbers, and publication dates. As this example can explain you, in text citation, in the line you have quoted here, okay, you are using author's surname and the page number from where you have taken these lines, without any comma, okay, comma or full stop, okay, keep it in mind. And work cited list, you have written down this author's full name, surname, and first name, then within inverted commas the work, and the journal is again in a italics form, volume, number, then date, okay, page range, then the link you have, if it's the online link, Springer link, okay, the link is also given here, okay. Now let's see how it's actually in MLA 9th edition. What's the basic difference we have, okay. We are going to talk about it. Here you can see even the example here. The same thing is given, narrated by Susan Young, since it's a the kind of some audio material, so you can also use that, narrated by Susan Yager, okay. Then italics, that container, then you have the link, okay, online link, and the online link accessed the day. Earlier we used to write down or we used to take it retrieved, okay, from or on something. Just write down accessed, okay, with the day, month, and year. And then in which format, it is also very important, in which format you have access, MP3 format. Earlier it was not so. So 9th edition has added this things that you have to go, means if you watch a movie, but okay, movie is watched, but where you have watched it, that also is very important. So ultimate location will be taken over. Okay, so let's compare them in a faster manner. Length 367 pages versus 146 pages. Okay, so you can see the kind of pages they have used. Okay, and how those extra pages use 29 pages on titles, and within titles, and quotation within titles, and punctuation. So lengthy. It's a voluminous books, but but it is not very different from what MLA 8th edition has to say. Access dates. This is very important, which I have already talked in the previous one. Access date, here you have the 16 July 2013 already written here, and access, you have written down access, the dates are repeated. In 9th edition you need not repeat the date, it will be accessed only. Okay, when you access any written material, when the written material is published, that date it should not be, you should not mention. You can only mention access 17 January 2017. It will be like this. And this earlier you used to write web, okay, or print or web. That also is not to be added. You see the link is given immediately after that. Okay, so you can use this like and container, I told you there are so many container, one another, just like this. I told you a film where you have seen the film, you see, view the television show, whether it is live by broadcast or Netflix or Hulu or DVD or whatever, Amazon Prime. So this is, of course, it doesn't matter, but MLA 9th edition has given focused a lot much of pages, invested pages onto these containers. And how you experience art here, that is again a very important thing. 9th edition has focused that did you see that artwork in person, did you see it online, or did you see it in a book? So all you have to incorporate all this cited differently, that I told you, container after container. Okay, and Wikipedia, they objected to it. The Wikipedia has been banned. Okay, and not a single example of Wikipedia citation is given, and I have told you the reason for it. You can use it for your writing, but don't quote from it, because it is sometimes they may be inaccurate and incorrect. Okay, YouTube is almost neglected also. Okay, just 3 examples in 367 page. And the difference basically is Google and Wikipedia are reasonable places. 8th edition says Google and Wikipedia, they approve of it, 8th edition, but 9th edition has just banned Wikipedia. Okay, and dictionaries, you can quote like this, content, and you can write down dictionary like this. This is something which was not there. Okay, so this is generally we don't do that. So I'll proceed. Book chapters, you have whether you have taken it from introduction, prefaces, foreword, afterword, essays. Here nothing actually in detail has been given. Little attention is given here in 9th edition. That is really quite intriguing. So you are actually unlikely to use. So it cannot be really focused. Generally we used to have, it is written in the introduction of such and such thing. So 9th edition has avoided that. Inclusive language, they have focused it a lot. They said the language should be very important, and it should be inclusive. How it should be inclusive? Be precise, be thoughtful, avoid negative judging others' experiences, and use a dictionary to check for offensive terms. So offensive terms should not be used. I have given some examples here. Okay, human-made should not be used. Man-made should not be used. Human-made should be used. Man-made means masculine, female, women-made is not there. So men, this kind of a gender neutrality should be taken into consideration. Human-made, even Latinx can be used. Latino cannot be used. Avoid the specific term. Use generic terms. Muslim community, don't generalize. Use Sunni Muslims in India. Okay, or Native American language, it's a generalized term. There are so many native languages. Use Chinookan languages, okay, or something like this. So avoid religious generalization. They have given in detail, and they have focused a lot on that. And a very, very important change with the grammar they have played is that use they in place of he or she. So not to be gender specific, okay, you can generalize, and they is now a singular, okay, pronoun, and you can use it. Minimizing pronoun that is exclude, they may be used in a singular sense of a person. Alex is writing their research paper, okay, on Hemingway. This is something really odd for us, but they have accepted, and even in APA they have accepted they in place of he or she. Okay, and sources you will never use. This I have already told you. Wikipedia, YouTube, and TED Talks, okay, they cannot be used. Okay, and billboard advertisements, museum wall, book signed by the author, digital monographs, and all these things, both published alongside the work and separately. So all these things can be shown. Specific container should be shown with it. And last but not the least, please do the background reading for those learners or students. You should have some background reading right from English literature, literary verse, literary theories, research methodology, MLA book. Okay, and that is now you have the ninth edition, and you should also possess a wonderful on literary research, that is the handbook to literary research edited by Korea and Owens, and you will find it so handy for your research work. So before going for it or doing some serious research, please do that. And with that, I come to conclusion. And as I told you, with the digital era taking over, it is important to include digital and online tools into the learning process. And students rely on smart devices and internet more than conventional learning methods. Students are quite actually used to it. So keeping in mind with this trend, what allows the teacher to better understand students and their needs. So it's important. Additionally, these tools make the learning process more interactive and allow easier flow of information, which makes our teacher's job also easier. Okay. So with that, I conclude, and perhaps I have overstepped my time. I'm sorry for it. Okay, I stop sharing. Should I stop sharing, madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So the research is to see what everybody else has not seen actually, and to think what nobody else has thought. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Is there any query? Anybody?
All the questions have been answered in one lecture. No questions.
It is
Thank you, ma'am.
not actually, it is an interdisciplinary kind of a thing, more on a actually technical. You can see the online sources which are not actually related, and I have seen some people have taboos using the online resources, but you cannot say no to it. It's there, you have to use it and explore. Yeah.
It was a wonderful session, ma'am, on the latest technological tools. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. You have given us various insights to find good journals, plagiarism checkers, and grammar checker tools. It is very useful for emerging research scholar like me and Chandan Soni sir. You also gave us a gateway to the ocean of information by which which is useful for research available in internet. You also gave us a brief information about MLA ninth edition, which is very useful, ma'am. And for formal vote of thanks, I would like to invite again our Mr. Chandan Soni sir. Over to you, sir.
Just 1 minute, Chandra. I would like to welcome Dr. Savitri Tripathi, who is present here in this session. Savitri Tripathi, she is professor in Government College, Bilaspur, and she has been my guide. Welcome to you, ma'am, and pranam. Yes, continue.
Thanks, Nilu. Thanks,
Yeah,
Nilu, for
pranam, ma'am, pranam.
but really it's flat lecture. Plant lecture by
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
To your surprise, let me share that I am a product of Ravi Shankar University and I belong to Bilaspur.
Oh,
Bilaspur is my
so nice.
hometown.
Oh, so
Yeah.
nice.
So nice, ma'am. So nice.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation, ma'am. So enlightening and so much of information, so many things we came to know for the first time. It was a complete package of digital equipment required for research writing, and along with the do's and don'ts. You introduced us with all the arms, and ammunition to lead in the war of research writing. I feel that I feel that all of us must be feeling the same, that we are all on. Our minds are now at war. I feel that we should just start writing. We got answers to so many of questions. How to start writing a research paper, how to arrange our thoughts, how to document our research using digital tools, how to find the perfect journal suitable for our paper, how to check plagiarism, how to arrange references and bibliography effortlessly, and how to get published. So many new things we came to know about that we had not even heard earlier. We feel ourselves empowered. Indeed, we feel ourselves empowered. And I'm like feeling so eager that, to use all these tools that you have talked about and start working on my research, start working on my first paper. You have told us everything, and that too in such a simple manner, in such simple words. Thank you so much, ma'am. Uh, it makes me feel, it makes me remember when I was, my memory is quite sharp. I remember when I was 4 to 5 years old, and there used to be Shishu Mandir, and kids used to go to the Shishu Mandir. It was very close to our house. I went there walking with just a slate and a white pencil with me. And the teacher there, she holded every student's hand. She would hold my hand and she would make me write zero and one, ek, do, teen, char, and a, e, e, and a, b, c, d. These three things uh, means I remember that so much. I can connect to that. Uh, I feel that you have made us like the Shishu Mandir of research writing. You are the teacher of the Shishu Mandir, means holding our hands and making us do the work. That is all I
Yes,
feel. Thank you so much,
NEP
ma'am.
also says hand holding is very important. And you
Yes,
see, whenever the time comes for learning new things, we actually sit in our citadels and we say, "अरे हमको क्या सीखना है? हम इतने साल की उम्र पे हो गए." I'm 61 years old and I'm still learning,
I know.
and I
And
learn
ma'am, that's
from
what I was
each.
thinking that at even at this age you are so well versed in new technology, ma'am. Hats off to you, ma'am.
My pleasure. And I have a different style of preparing my PPT. People say it's not literary, but I say PPT is to see. So presentation should be different. So you can see all my PPTs are focused and image based. So my PPTs are actually talking to you in that way. They were all evident and visible. It's not that I kept my PPT somewhere and then I'm talking something at length. So that is my first thing, and which has been appreciated, and I never wanted to be so hi-fi in my approach. You can be in writing, but when you are connecting with students, you should be able to connect to them in a way actually they understand. This is a very big word. Yes, for us it is there, but quite smart these days. Students know far. I'm really sorry I have taken a lot much of your time.
Not at all, ma'am. Please, please, it was our pleasure to hear you. And one thing more, I would like to welcome all the participants and say thanks to them, especially Dr. Geeta Sharma, who has been my old friend and she is now posted in Indore. And she has joined this session. She has continuously joined it since yesterday. Thanks, Dr. Geeta Sharma. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
and we really
Have a
look
nice
forward
day. Thank
to
you.
see you in person, ma'am,
Yes, invite
whenever
me.
possible. Yes,
I am addressing the indoor crowd day after. Tomorrow, actually, your session was there, so I told her not to take. It is about NEP. I'm going to deliver 2 lectures on NEP,
yes.
faculty empowerment and NEP implementation. This is some indoor college. The lady has just called me during my session, so I switch it off.
At what time is it, ma'am?
On 10th and 11th June, they did it. If they share the link, I'll definitely share with Neelu madam. Okay.
Please, please,
Yes,
please.
sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, audience, assistant professors, research scholars, students from all over India. Uh, so today's uh, feast is going to end, and We will meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And the feedback links have been shared in your email IDs. So do check them. So thank you very much. Good day to all. Thank you.
Thanks, Manjari.